Alright, so welcome back again. My name is Jesse and in this wonderful and exciting tutorial, it is going to be a very exciting tutorial that we'll be doing from henceforth for the next few days that will be coming. It is termed Streamlit project, right? So this is going to be like an app challenge in which we'll be picking different apps, and then each and every day we'll be building an app and be releasing it on our YouTube channel and then in the coming sessions, right? So these are the types of apps we'll be building. So we'll be building generator apps, we'll be building CRUD apps, we'll be building data apps, normal data apps, we'll be building ML apps, API apps, that is, we'll be trying to use an API inside Streamlit. We'll also be building search apps, convert apps, miscellaneous apps, any app idea that comes into our head, and recommend apps. So this is a full challenge, not just for the next 7 days, but for 30 days. But I'll be releasing just the next 7 apps, right, for the next days that will be coming. So our general workflow for the app is that we are always going to have an input session, which is going to take in an input. It can be text, it can be image, it can be strings, numbers. Then it's going to go through a process, right? So this is going to be a processing. So either we process with normal functions, Python functions, we may be using our normal data from pandas, or maybe using another package. We may also be contacting with a database somewhere and be storing some of the data inside the database, and then you may also be working with some APIs, right? So the basic app workflow for this exciting tutorial is that we'll be having an input session, right? And then it's going to go through this process session, whereby it can be a function, it can be a data set, it can be an API, it can be a database, it can be any other thing with different packages. Then we are going to return the result so that the user, right, can see. Then later we'll deploy the app. So that's going to be our basic workflow for all the exciting things we'll be doing from henceforth. So let's go back to it. So already on our GitHub page, right, JCharisTech/Streamlit project, right, we have a lot of apps we are building. So we'll be adding more of them to it as time goes on. There are a lot of apps we have already built, but we are trying to create a new project called Streamlit project, which is going to be like an app challenge in which you have different apps. So we'll be starting with these things, right? So by the end of these 7 days, all of this code will be available so that you can have access to it. We'll still be continuing, right, with it for the next 30 days, but you do it for the first 7 days. So let's start with it. So we'll be building our first app, which is going to be a LeetConverter app. As our workflow is, we are going to have converter apps. So we're trying to build a simple converter app, then you move on to the rest. So let's see a demo of the app you'll be building. So in case you have any question or contribution, you can also put it inside the comment section and the description section. And then you can also check out our website, right, JCharisTech, in case you have any question or something that you need, right? Okay, so let's go back and see the app at work. So this is going to be the app we'll be working on. It is called LeetSpeak or LeetConverter App, which is a very simple app, and this is part of the Streamlit App Challenge series, right? So we have two parts of the app. We have the LeetConverter or LeetSpeak, and then we have the Natophonetizer. So the Nato, right, phonetizer is like, I just call it phonetizer just to make it interesting. Is for example, if you watch movies, you see them saying Alpha, Charlie, Bravo, those kind of things. We have built something simple like that. So let's check it out. So for the Leet, let's paste in the text like hello world, right, something like that. If I go with hello world in the LeetSpeak, right, or LeetSpeak, the LeetConverter is going to convert them into a very nice format for us. You can see that it automatically converted it. So this is the original word and this is the Leet, right, speech, as you can see from here. I don't know whether you can see it well. I hope you can see it well. You can actually click on this to copy it. Perfect. And then you can also visualize the original text, hello world. Very simple app, right? It's a very simple app that we are building. Okay, let's move on from here. You can also move on from the normal to the Greek Leet, right? We'll be adding more features to it as time goes on, and it's a challenge, so you can also pick the app and then add more things to it. Okay, so let's go back again and check the same thing. So let's go with, let's say hello world, right? This is Greek Leet, so it's going to convert them to alpha, beta, gamma, like for the Greek. So if I click on convert, it's going to convert them to Greek, right? Hopefully it's able to work. So see, perfect, just converted them to that particular format. I don't know whether you can see it all. I hope you can see it all, right? So it has converted the entire stuff into the Greek alphabet, right? Perfect. But this one is still staying the same thing because Wordcloud always works with Word. It doesn't work with other things. Perfect. That is the first part of the app. The next app, which is still part of this app, is the Natophonetizer, right? So if I come here and I paste in something like, let's say hello world, right? And I want to get the Natophonetizer for it to make it easy for me to remember and memorize. I can just go with this. You can see that we have it here. So hello world is going to be Hotel Echo Lima Lima Oscar Whiskey. I hope you remember what I'm talking about. Oscar Romeo Limo. So it's a very simple app, and now we can actually visualize this one because it is test, right? They are words. Perfect. That is a simple app you're trying to build in this wonderful and exciting tutorial. So let's go move on to the next session and see how to build this app from scratch. Remember, this is an app challenge, and apologies for the noise and then how my voice is. My English is not that good. I hope you bear with me. So let's start. So these are some of the apps to be building. So we already have them here, right? A lot of apps to be building. Okay, for the next 7 days, it's actually 30 days, but I'm just releasing 7 days. Okay, so let's see. So we're building some basic apps and then some intermediate apps, and this is going to be our requirement. So for the first start, we are using Streamlit, right? So let's start. I'll go back again to my workspace. Apologies for the noise you hear behind. Apologies for that. Okay, so I'm going to go back again, and I'm just going to go to my repository. Right? So to make our work easy, this is the original one. So I'm going to go back to the JCharisTech channel here. There we have the JCharisTech itself. Right, so this is, we will be, the original ones are here, right? But I'll also be creating another one in which you'll be putting whatever you want to do there, right? Perfect. But let's move on, and then straight away we'll do the GitHub stuff later. So I'll move again. I'll create a folder, go into my ST labs, and I'm going to create a simple folder, mkdir. I'm going to call it as my ST challenge or Streamlit project, right? So I already have it there. So let's move into it. So I'm moving to my Streamlit project, right? There's nothing here. Perfect. And now I'm going to work on it. So I'm going to create our first work. So in case you don't have Streamlit, you can just install it on the system with pip install Streamlit, right? You can actually also use a virtual environment if you want, right? But let's move on with the basics, right? Okay, perfect. So let's move on and create our folder. So I'm going to create a simple folder. I'm going to call it 01.LeetConverter. That is the first app we are building. I'll move into 01.LeetConverter. There's nothing here. So I'm going to create my first file. I'm going to create my app.py file and a readme file to keep track of what we'll be doing. Now let's open it to Sublime, and then let's start writing some code. So this is going to be our workspace. We have our app here. There's nothing here. We have our readme. So inside the readme, I'm going to write what the app is, right? So this is going to be 01, let's go Streamlit project, right? It's an app challenge. So app challenge. Apologies for the noise you're hearing behind. My bad. Then let's name of the app. So app name, right? Let's make it like this, app details, right? Then go back with this. So we have the name of the app, which is going to be LeetConverter, right? And then also give the description. This is going to be our format so that future generation people can also benefit from it, right? So description, so Leet conversion with LeetSpeak, and then with Natophonetizer, right? You add more details to it later, right? Perfect. So that is going to be the simple workflow. And then let's talk about the requirement for the app, the packages, right? So let's go with package requirement. So pkg requirement. So for now we are only using Streamlit, nothing more. Streamlit, and then we're also using Wordcloud. These are the two main packages we are using, right? And then also matplotlib. Perfect. These are all that you use for the app. Perfect. So let's go back again to this place, and I'm just going to import Streamlit as st. Apologies for the noise. Then I don't know whether you can hear that there's somebody behind because of where I am, right? The place I have to change the place I'm staying. So let's go back again and then call it as my title for the app, which is going to be my LeetSpeak. Let's go with LeetConverter. No, let's make it LeetSpeak app. Right, perfect. So that is it. So now this is going to have a menu, which is going to have the two parts of the app. We have the LeetConverter, going to have our home itself, which is going to have all of them, right? And then an about to talk about the app. So the choice is going to be st.sidebar.selectbox. I'm going to pass in my menu, right? So this is our simple workflow. So everything that we're working is going to go under here, right? Perfect. So that is how the app is going to be. Okay, so let's move on from here. right? And let's see whether the app is going to work. So we're going to be like, if the choice of the app is equal to the person choose is equal to home, this is where the main app is going to be, right? So pass, then else st.subheader is going to be our about page, right? So this is going to be st.test LeetSpeak app, right? Okay, so this is going to be our first app, right? We are building. So let's run this simple app and see whether it's working. So I'll just go back again to my workspace. Our app is there. Then to run it, just go with Streamlit run.app.py. So in case you want to learn more about Streamlit, I have videos, a lot of videos on the YouTube channel in which you can actually check. There's also a course on learning Streamlit you can also check. There's also a very nice book by Tyler Richard, which is about getting started with Streamlit. So you can also check them. So it's going to open it, and then while it's opening, let me set up our place. So I'll close the old app. This was the old app, and I'm going to open the new app, right? So the port 2. So by default, it's going to use your default port. That is the port you are running on now, right? The old app was running on port 8502. So let me close the old app. So this is the old app, the one we demoed. Yep, and then now we only have this one app that is running. So perfect. So this is the app. The app is working. So LeetSpeak app, right? So I'm going to position it beside it and then have our stuff here. Okay, so that we can see what we are doing. So as we already said, most of the app is going to follow the same workflow. We're going to have an input session, going to go through some processing, and then going to have an output session. So let's start with that same workflow. So I'll just go back again. We have our app itself, which is here. We need an input session, right? So we have the home page and then about, which we have gotten. So we need an input session. So the input session is going to have two main stuff. So we'll be having one for the LeetSpeak and one for the Nato. So this is going to be our layout. So layout, right? So it's going to be my column 1 and then column 2. So st.columns, and I'll pass in my columns here, right? So the column I'm going to pass in is just 2. Then I'm going to say, okay, with the column 1, I want you to do for the LeetSpeak, right? So this is going to be my LeetConverter, right? And then for the column 2, so with column 2 for the layout, let's give it a different name, success, so it looks different. This is going to be our Natophonetizer, right? For it's Natophonetics, but I'm calling it Phonetizer to make it sound nice. Okay, so let's save it and click on always run, so that you always see the result. So we have the LeetConverter and we have the Natophonetizer. If I expand this particular stuff we have here, you can see that we have it well, right? Okay, so let's work on the input session. So for the input, we are going to just create a simple input area. So I'll call this my raw test, which is going to be my st. So there are two options. Let's use a form, right? So we're using a form. So let's use a form. So Streamlit forms. It's going to be my st.form, right? And I'm going to pass in the name of the form, the key for the form. So this is going to be my Leet form. So Leet form. And then I'm just going to go straight away with this option, right? So let's paste in our raw test, which st.test area, right? Then enter test here. So enter test here. So that is something very basic we are doing, right? Perfect. And then for every form you need a button, so you have to specify the button. So let's go to submit button, which is going to be, in this our case, going to be my st.form submit button. I pass in the label for the button, which is going to be my label. So label is going to be submit, or let's give it a label as convert, right? So let's save it and see. So I save it. Now you're going to see our form coming in a very nice and simple way. Perfect. See that we have our form here, right? Enter test here and then the form here. Perfect. Now let's return the result. So this is going to be our result session. Let's go back again. This is going to be the results, right? So if the submit button is clicked on, I want you to do something. So what do I want you to do? I want you to tell the person the original test. So st.info is going to be the result, that you want to tell the person, and this is going to be the original text. So st.write, so original. Then I'll just go with this option so that the person actually knows what he or she typed there. Dot format. You can also use f-string if you want. Dot format, and I'll pass in my raw test. Right. If I save it, let's check it out. So go back again, expand the app. Let's pass in our test, hello, and I'll click on convert. It's running. Voila. So the result original is hello, right? But you can see that the moment we just do that, this one still stays there. So how do you clear this one automatically? So there's a whole video on that, but let me show you how to do that. So to clear it automatically, just go back again to the forms, then on this particular option, go with clear on submit, which is an argument for forms, then set it as true, right? So I save it and I come back here. Let's type in a text here. So hello, convert, so that it is gone. Just automatically click and the result is there. Perfect. So that is the first part of the app. Now let's move on. We have done the input part of our app, right, as we already are doing. So this is the input part of the app. We have done the input. Now we need a particular function to do the conversion, right? So let's see how to do conversion with Leet. So I'll go back again to the app itself here, and then this is the one that we are resulting. So we need a function to help us with the conversion. So I'm going to go back to the top of my app. It's going to be my functions. Right, so let's create a simple function called LeetConverter. Right, and this is going to take in our term. Right, perfect. So when it takes in a term, it must do some things to it. So Leet, let's Google what Leet is. So let's go to Leet dictionary, right? So I go with Leet dictionary, or Leet dictionary or Leet term, right? Leet. Let me show you something, right? So if I go back to Wikipedia, we have Leet, right? We have Leet cheat speech. So the concept about Leet is, you can get more information from here. I want to get a list of all the words, right? And then how it is written in LeetSpeak, right? So this is some information about it, about what Leet. So Leet is also known as Elite or LeetSpeak. It's a system of modified spelling used primarily on the internet, right? So it often uses character replacement. So they are just trying to replace the characters with their own, right? So let's check it out. So I'll go back again. I have a dictionary of them already. So there are lots you can just get about, but I already have prepared my dictionary. So I'll be using that particular dictionary to help us with that. So this is going to be my Leet dictionary. Call it as my Leet dictionary. Let's make it convention. So every constant, let's make it capital. So let's call it as Leet dictionary, right? Right, and this is going to be a simple dictionary. So with LeetSpeak, A is going to have its own way. So it can be arroba, or it can be for, right, based on how you see it, right? So I'm going to do the same thing for the rest. So I'll copy it and paste it to save us time. So I'll come back here, right, and let me paste it here. So I'm going to be pasting for the Leet, right? So let's go back again. So if I check it out here, so A is for, or it can be arroba, B is this particular one, C is this, D is this, right? So that is the basic understanding behind the Leet. And for the Greek dictionaries also, we have the Greek alphabet. So A in English, alpha in Greek, B in English, beta in Greek, right? So that is the basic understanding. So this is what to be using. So now let's go back again and then create a simple dictionary to help us with our replacement. So there are several ways we can do replacement, right, in a particular term. So for example, let's go back again to our terminal. I'm going to split this one into vertical, and then I'm going to show you what I mean. So if I go with IPython array, I want to just show you how to do replacement with a string. So the simple way is that you have a string like this. Let's say my temp, right? Then I passed in hello, right? In case I want to do replacement, I just go with the same thing. So temp dot replace. Then I'm going to pass in my, let's say I want to place all each with, let's say, hashtag, right? If I go with this option and I go back, so now it has replaced the h with the hashtag, right? So this is default replacement. Perfect. But what if you want to use a dictionary to replace each and every one of them? So that is what we can also do. So how do you do that? So let's say I have my dictionary called D, right? And this dictionary, let's use the same thing from here. Let's use this particular dictionary. So go back again to my Streamlit project. I'm going to use the first one, right, to show you how the code works. Come back again, paste it. So it's a simple dictionary, right? Now in case I want to replace the entire stuff, I'm just going to say for I in my term, right? If I go with print I can get all the characters, right? Perfect. I can get all the characters because it's a string, so I can actually split them. So in case I want to replace them, I can do the same thing. So let's say using a replacement, right? So in case I want to make some replacements using this particular dictionary, right, I can just come back again. So for my I in my term, right, so I can actually convert this entire stuff here, right, into another list. So I'm going to split them together. Perfect. Then I just come back again. So print I. If I go back, it's the same thing that it's getting, right? But the reason I'm converting the entire stuff into a list is to make it easy for us to rearrange and change. Now I'm going to create an empty result. So let's go to result, right? Let's come back again. Let's clear it off. So result. So if I come back to the result, I'm going to set up for I in my terms, the list of terms. So list the term, right? Made a mistake again. Go back again. Sometimes I prefer to work in Jupyter Notebook so that you can have all the code, but let's use this one. Then I'm going to say that, okay, print I, right? So this is going to print everything, but I want to do some changes. So I'm just going to go back with the Leet dictionary, then get that particular value that is being passed there if it's there, and then the result that you're going to get stored inside this particular variable called x, right? And then after that, I want you to append x to the dictionary, so to the list above, append x, right? If I run it now, we don't see any result, but if I go back with the rest, so now we have the word hello, right, which was in our term, has now been replaced. So H is H, 3 is E, LL, right? So that is how the Leet conversion works. So the basic idea is that you just first of all have to convert your term into a list, then you use a dictionary to do some replacement, then you append it back, right? Very simple. So let's go back again and let's apply that same thing. So I'll just come back again, and then I'm going to create in a simple way. So this was in a format of a for loop, but you can also use list comprehension. So let's call it as my res2, res1. The same thing we did, and just with list comprehension, you just start from the bottom. So x, right? Then from there, right, so in case you want to do that, you can just start with x, right? But you already have s already, right? We already have s, so this entire stuff is s. So I'm just going to go back again and paste this one here. So this entire stuff is x, so that we don't do repetition. I'll paste it here, right? That's the first thing, that's the x. Then I'm going to say, okay, for I in list, the same thing we had here, right? Term. So the best options are, let's convert the term into lowercase, right? You can convert it to uppercase, but let's convert it to lowercase, right, to match up with our dictionary. Then everything is working as expected. Perfect. Right, so if I go back with the rest one, we have our result. Now the next option is to join them together to get the original term. So to join them together, just go with the normal Python join. I'll pass in my res one, and then voila, the word has been joined together. Very simple approach, right? So let me save it so that I can have access to it in the future. Okay, so let's go back again to the app itself and implement this code. So I just go back again to the same thing we did here. I'm just going to call it as my result, right? Then I'm going to go the same thing to my dictionary that I have. So it was the Leet dictionary dot get I for I in the term. Let's convert the term into a lowercase, right? So the same thing, let's return the result. So to return the result as join together. The join, I'll pass in my result. Perfect. So this is a simple function. So let's try this function here. I'll copy this function, go back to my Jupyter notebook, and my IPython. Let's try it. So let's pass in a term. So let's go to s say world of Streamlit, right? Something like that. Let's go back again. So LeetConverter, I'll pass in an S, and let's see, voila, right? That's converted the entire stuff into LeetSpeak. Very simple. So our function is working. So this is the function we'll be using. So all that we were doing is just trying to work with a particular function to take the input to give us our expected output. So I'll come back again to the app, and then we will be applying this particular function here. So the same thing we did for this, we can also do the same thing for the Greek alphabet, right? You can also do the same thing there. So I just go back again, copy the same function, and then call this one as my Greek converter, right? So we're changing this one from the Leet to Greek, the same idea. So Greek, right? This function is going to be very, very useful, right? So keep it in mind. Okay, perfect. So we are done with that. Now I just come back again, and then let's apply it here. So this is going to be our result. So to get the result, just go with my result, right? Which is going to be my Leet converter. I'll pass in the raw test, right? Then from there, let's show the result out. So write result. Let's save it. Go back to the app, making sure that everything is as expected. Let's type in a test here. So this is going to be my test. So let's click on hello. So perfect. So my test, it was able to convert it well, right? But we want the user to be able to click on it and copy it. So how do we do that? So you can simply move on and then change this right from write to code, right? If I change from write to code, now the user, if I passed in my test, the user can just click on the tab and it's automatically going to copy, right? Although it's not clear, but you can just click on this, copy to Clipboard, and I can also paste it here, right? Perfect. That is working. That is the first part of the app. The next part of the app is that we also need to be able to do some visualizations. So to do the visualization, we only need to use words, not any other thing. So this was for the Leet conversion, right? Now let's add the other type of conversion. So you have seen the basic outflow of the app. Let's check the other aspect of the app. So I'm just going to go back again to my raw test here. I'm going to add another feature for the particular option I want to choose. So let's call it as conversion type. So conversion choice, right? That I want to use. I'm going to the st dot. Let's go with a simple select box. I'll pass in two options. So this is going to be my choice, which is going to be either we are going to use Leet, let's call it as normal, right, or Greek, something like that, right? So we are using the two of them. Now I'm going to select if the submit button is this, right? This is going to be the result. This is always going to stay constant, right? So I'll come back here and I'm going to write another function that if my conversion choice is equal to Greek, right, then I want you to apply the Greek function. So result, this is going to be Greek, right? Else, any other thing is going to be result, going to be my Leet converter, then the raw test. So the result is going to come down. So let's save it and see. So come back again. The app is going to change. We have this new feature here, the new feature for this one. So if I passed in business test, so hello, right, and I click on this, the normal conversion, the normal using the normal Leet speech, the result is there. We have our Leet there, hello, right, perfect. Now if I move from the normal, go back again to hello, hola, привет in Russian, hola in Spanish, Greek, click on convert. Now that's converted to Greek, right? Very simple. So that is a very simple tool you have built. Now let's add the plotting, right? So to add the plot, I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to add an expander, so it's going to be my visualization. So we're using a simple visualizer to help us with that. So let's go with my st.beta expander. There's no more beta expander. Let's go to visualize. Then from here, I'll just pass in the a simple function to help us plot it. So this will be using a simple function here. So this was our functions for the conversion. Let's create our functions for visualization. So we're using matplotlib to help us with that. So I'll come back here. I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, right? Then I'm going to be importing matplotlib. Then for matplotlib, we want to use this particular feature to help us be able to plot it, right? Use AGG, that is the backend, right? So this is the backend. Perfect, we are done with that. Now let's use Wordcloud. So from Wordcloud, import Wordcloud. So in case you don't have Wordcloud, you can actually import it with pip install Wordcloud. So this is going to be for visualization, right? Okay, so I'll come down here. I'm going to create a simple function to help us with that. So the function is going to be this: plot Wordcloud. This function is going to take in the particular document that is being supplied, whatever the term is. I'm going to pick that particular term. I'm going to create my Wordcloud with the term supplied, so Wordcloud class. Now passing my generate function, the docs, right? Perfect. So it's going to create a Wordcloud. Now let's plot it out. So this is going to be the plot. So plt.figure. I'm going to pass in my plot. So figure size. So figure size. We can leave this one, but I prefer to paste in my figure size. Then let's plot. So plt.imshow my Wordcloud. Then you can also specify some parameters like the interpolation to put them together. Set it as what? Linear or bilinear. And then the last one, some of these functions we are using, so as time goes on, we're going to have a file with all the functions there, so we don't need to be repeating them, right, to save us time. So let's move on. So plt.access. So this access is going to go off, right? You keep the access off, and then st.pyplot. Then I'll pass in my figure. So that is a simple function I've created to help us with our plotting. It's giving us an indentation error, but you fix it. So I'll come back here. Now pass in my plot Wordcloud. I'll pass in the original term, so raw test. If I save it, let's go back again. Now our app is working perfectly. Let's test it out with, let's say, Leet. We are testing the Leet converter with Leet. Perfect. And you can see that now our word was there, right? So everything has been converted well. If I go back again, so it's going to visualize it, but it's telling us it's empty, but it's running a process behind the scene. Perfect, right? So you can actually cache this particular function to make it faster. I can cache this function with st.cache. So with this st.cache, but st.cache is going to be deprecated, or not deprecated, but a new feature is coming soon. Apologies for that there. Yes, it's still in testing. So if I click on this one, you can see the difference, right? So we need at least one word. So we need to be able to make sure that we face this one out, right? If the word is 0, we don't need to bring it out, or we have to make sure that the person cannot even submit it without this, right? So how do you do that? You can actually use if test is none. So we can face that error by just coming back again, right? That's going to be another indentation. I'm going to say that, okay, if raw test is not none, right, then I have to indent this entire stuff again. Okay, so if the person click on the button and if the raw test is not none, I want you to return a result. So now if I come here and I click on this, right, we need to be able to tell the person something, right? So we need to make sure that give the person an information. So else st.warning no test, right? Something like that. So come back again. It's still giving us the same thing. You have to find a way of fixing it later. So you can make it beautiful by just moving this one from here. So let me refactor it. Yeah. We're going to refactor here. So we say that if raw test is not none, right, then you just plot it, right? Otherwise, if it is none, don't plot it. Else, you tell the person that st.warning, no test to plot. So no test to plot. So that is a simple way, right? It's another way. We just change the position of it. Now if I come back here, there's no test. If I click on convert, the app works, right? But this one is still giving us this error. I don't know why it's giving us this error, but maybe we'll fix it out later, right? It's giving us the error. It's not supposed to even reach that particular point at all. Anyway, we'll fix it later, right? So that is, see how it is, right? This is just a challenge anyway. So I don't know. So yeah, we're going to fix it later, don't worry, right? We can also use try except, right? Anyhow you want it to be. But let's move on with this one. It's giving us an error here. You can also use try except, but because we are taking a lot of time, let's move on straight away. So we are done with most part of the app. Very simple part of the app. So let's go back again. Let's fix those things we made. Yeah, let's save it. Hopefully the app works as expected. So let's close this one. Hopefully the app works. So refresh. So I've seen how to build this wonderful app. You have gotten the input, you have gotten a function. Now let's move on to the next part of the app in the next session, which is going to be the Natophonetic part of the app, right? In the next session, so we're trying to see how to build that aspect of the app in the next session of the tutorial. See you in the next session. Stay blessed. But let's check the app itself, whether everything is working as expected. What is left with this one? We have done with the LeetSpeak. Right, perfect. So that, welcome back. So in this particular session, still part of the first app you are building, you are going to be building the Natophonetizer. So our app works as expected by pasting so cool, right? And I click on the convert, everything works as expected, right? We're able to get our words, our results, we're able to visualize everything. It works well. The reason it's showing is because we have cached it. That's why it's showing this one. So it's telling us that it's going to be deprecated in the future, right? So yeah, so it's going to be deprecated in the future. That is why it's giving us this error, right? But it's still going to work. So let's take off the caching. It's the feature is going to be st_memo and then st, yeah. So this is going to be deprecated in the future, right? So deprecated. Okay, perfect. So that doesn't give us that particular error. Not error, but message. Now let's move on to the other aspect of the app. So I'll come back again to the app of the other section of the app, which is going to be our Nato, right? So the same thing we did here, we are also going to be doing the same thing here. So to save us time, I just copy this one here. So this is going to be the same thing we did, right? For the Nato, we are also going to create a form here. So come back here. So I'm going to go with st.form. Going to give it my key. Let's call this one as my Natophonetizer, right? And then same thing, clear on submit, set it to true. Perfect. Then let's give it our raw test, st.test area, paste in, enter your test here, your test here, right? And then we're going to create our button, right? So let's go to submit button, so st.form submit button. Pass in my label. This label is going to be different. This is going to be my how do you call it? Let's call it as phonetize, right? Yeah, let's give it some funny name. Then we just do the same thing we did here. So the same thing. Going to go back and copy this one here. Perfect. So the same thing. We're getting the original test, the raw test. Then this time we'll be using a function here. There's only one function. So the function will be, let's create a function. So hopefully the app is still working. So let me paste in a test. Hello, phonetize. Yeah, we got our work, right? So we want to be able to add that particular feature to it. So let's go back again. So the same function, as I said, this particular function is very, very important, right? This particular key here. So we're using the same thing to help us with the Nato. So I'll paste in my Nato dictionary. So Natophonetics. So let's go with Natophone dictionary, right? So I'll paste it there. So I'll paste it here. So we have alpha, A for alpha, beta, bravo, and the rest, right? So let's call this Natophone dictionary, no, phonetics dictionary, right? Something like that. Perfect. And I'm going to write the same function we did here on it. So I'll go back again. So let's go to Natophonetizer. So phonetizer, right? That's the name of the function. We can make it like this. So to follow the convention, I'll paste in my term, and just as we did here, the same thing we're doing, the same idea is what you're trying to do here. But this time we're going to change it from Greek to Nato. So Natophonetics dictionary, the same idea, but instead of this being lowercase, we'll be converting them to uppercase, right? Because see, these are all of them are in uppercase. I'll change this one to upper. Then I'm going to return the result like above. So this function is the same function we are using to generate our wonderful result. Now, I think let's test it first. I'll come back here and I'll pass in the result, which is going to be my Natophonetizer. Pass in the raw test. Let's st.write it out the result. So let's go back again and check it out if it's working. So this is the app. Expand it. Passed in a test to hello. So we need to get some term. So we have Hotel Echo Lima Lima Oscar. This is good, but this is not clear for you to see. So I prefer we expand it, right? So let's go back here and leave some space in between here, because there is no space here, right? It's difficult to read. The app is for users, so you have to make it easy for our users to be able to read this. So I'll go back and I'm going to add a simple space to it, right? So here, just add the space, save it, go back again, type in the hello, phonetize it. Now we're going to have it hello Echo Lima Lima, right? Perfect. And we can actually also make it as downloadable or Clipboard. So we can call it as this st.code to get it as one that we can actually copy, right? But go back again. Hello, it works. So if I click on phonetize, hello Echo Lima blah blah blah. Perfect, right? So this one can actually copy to Clipboard. So let's leave the two of them, right? So this is copy. So copy. So let's give it an info. Copy. Yeah. To the result, and then there is one for copying, right? So I click on. So let's go with hello. Copy. Right. So we have the one that we can copy, right? You can actually copy this one. Yeah. Now let's also add a visualization. So to add a visualization, the same thing we did. See, that is the advantage of using functions, right? So I'll just come back again, the same place, paste in this function, and then now let's return the result. And voila, our app is working. So you have seen how to build this wonderful app. It's a very simple app, and then I've been talking a lot. That is why it is too long. So if I go with hello, phonetize hello, it's going to give us our results. We have the one we can copy to Clipboard with this. And if I go with the visualize, you can see that it's going to come soon in a very nice format, right? Perfect. So that is how to build a very simple app from scratch, right? So this is our first day for the Streamlit React project challenge, right? 7 apps in 7 days. And then of course this is at least 2 apps in one day here, because this is an app on its own, there's another app on its own. So let's say 2 apps here. Okay, so thank you for watching the tutorial. In case you have any question or contribution, you can just put it in the comment section below. Let us see what you also have, any idea that you also want us to build as the time goes on. So let me go back again and recap. So this is a simple app we have built it from scratch. In this session, we had our core packages, right? We had our dictionary, which is going to be our data. We had some functions which we use to process our data, and then we had a place for our input with the Streamlit forms, and then the place we apply the functions, and then we return the result. So that is the basic overview. So thank you for watching. See you another time. Stay blessed. Bye. But before you go, one shout out, we have some books or some courses on Udemy, right? Learn Streamlit, which is a very good, it's a bestseller. Yeah, so we'll be adding this one to it, so you can also check the other series that is coming for more, right? In case you want to get ahead of us, everybody. Okay, so thank you for watching. See you another time. Bye for now.